Hello everyone, hope you are doing great. In this video I am going to discuss the most important basics of PHP in the form of question and answers. I tried to cover most of the topics from PHP, and all are very important to crack any PHP interviews. Before continuing, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. This inspires me to work on more videos. Now let's begin. I will go over the following topics in this video. Basic syntax, variables, data types, strings, arrays, functions, conditionals, loops, superglobals, forms handling, sessions, cookies and so on. Basic syntax. What is the symbol which is used to end all PHP statements? Semicolon. How to start a PHP code block? Using less than question mark PHP. What is the purpose of the echo statement? To print data to the screen. Variables. How do you declare a variable in PHP? Use the dollar symbol followed by the variable name. Can PHP variables store different data types? Yes, PHP is a loosely typed language. What is the scope of a variable declared outside a function? Global scope. Data types. Name to scalar data types in PHP. Integer and string. What data type is used to store true or false values? Boolean data type. Can a PHP variable store an array? Yes, PHP supports arrays. Strings. How do you concatenate strings in PHP? Using the dot operator. What function is used to find the length of a string? strlen. How do you convert a string to uppercase? Using the str to upper function. Arrays. What is an indexed array? An array where elements are accessed using numeric indices. How do you create an associative array? By using keys that are strings, like key value. How can you find the length of an array? Using the count function. Functions. How do you define a function in PHP? Use the function keyword followed by the function name and parentheses. Can PHP functions return values? Yes, using the return statement. What is a recursive function? A function that calls itself. Conditionals. What is the syntax for an if statement in PHP? If condition syntax is as given below. How do you write an else statement in PHP? Else statement is as follows. What operator is used for strict equality comparison? The equal to operator. Loops. Name a loop structure in PHP. For loop. How does a while loop work in PHP? It repeats code while the condition is true. What is the difference between for and for each loops? For is for numeric indices, for each is for iterating over arrays. Superglobals. What is $_get used for in PHP? To collect form data sent with the get method. How do you access a form input with post method? Using $post input _ name. What is the purpose of $server? To store server and execution environment information. Forms handling. What method should be used to securely transfer form data? Post method. How do you check if a form is submitted in PHP? Use iset $post submit. How do you sanitize form input in PHP? Use functions like HTML special chars or filter _ input. Sessions. How do you start a session in PHP? Using session _ start. How do you store data in a session? Assign values to $session variables. How do you destroy a session in PHP? Use session destroy. Cookies. How do you set a cookie in PHP? Use the setCookie function. How do you access a cookie value in PHP? Use $cookie_name. How do you delete a cookie? Set the cookie's expiration date in the past using setCookie. File handling. How do you open a file in PHP? Use the fopen function. What function is used to read a file line by line? fgetS. How do you close an open file? Using the fclose function. Error handling. How do you trigger an error in PHP? Use the trigger_error function. What is a try-catch block? A block that handles exceptions by catching errors in the catch block. How do you suppress errors in PHP? Use the operator before the expression. Object-oriented principles. What is a class in PHP? A blueprint for creating objects. How do you create an object in PHP? Use the new keyword followed by the class name. What is inheritance in PHP? A mechanism where one class can inherit properties and methods from another class. Constructors. What is a constructor in PHP? A special method that is automatically called when an object is created. How do you define a constructor in PHP? Using the __construct method. Can constructors take parameters? Yes, constructors can accept parameters to initialize object properties. Destructors. What is a destructor in PHP? A method that is automatically called when an object is destroyed. How do you define a destructor in PHP? Using the __destruct method. When is a destructor executed? When there are no references to the object or the script ends. Visibility. What are the visibility keywords in PHP? Public, protected, and private. What does the private keyword do? Limits access to the class itself. How does the protected keyword work? Limits access to the class and its subclass. Static methods. What is a static method in PHP? A method that can be called without creating an object of the class. How do you declare a static method? Use the static keyword before the method name. How do you call a static method? Using class name, method name. Abstract classes. What is an abstract class in PHP? A class that cannot be instantiated and must be inherited. How do you declare an abstract class? Use the abstract keyword before the class name. Can an abstract class have non-abstract methods? Yes, it can have both abstract and non-abstract methods. Interfaces. What is an interface in PHP? A contract that classes must adhere to by implementing its methods. How do you declare an interface? Use the interface keyword. Can a class implement multiple interfaces? Yes, a class can implement multiple interfaces. Traits. What is a trait in PHP? A mechanism for code reuse in multiple classes. How do you declare a trait? Use the trait keyword. Can a class use multiple traits? Yes, a class can use multiple traits. Namespaces. What is a namespace in PHP? A way to encapsulate items such as classes, functions, and constants. How do you declare a namespace? Use the namespace keyword at the top of the file. How do you import a namespace? Use the use keyword. Constants. How do you define a constant in PHP? Use the define function or the const keyword. Can constants be changed after they are defined? No, constants cannot be changed. What is the difference between define function and const? Define function can be used in conditional blocks, const cannot. Magic methods. What is a magic method in PHP? A special method that starts with underscore underscore and is triggered automatically. Give an example of a magic method. Underscore underscore construct function is an example of a magic method. What does underscore underscore to string function do? Allows a class to define how it should be converted to a string. Autoloading. What is autoloading in PHP? A mechanism to automatically load classes when they are needed. How do you register an autoload function? Use SPL autoload register method. What is PSR4 autoloading? A standard for autoloading classes based on their namespace and directory structure. PDO. What does PDO stand for in PHP? PHP Data Objects. What is PDO used for? For accessing databases in a consistent manner. How do you prepare a statement in PDO? Use the prepare method. MySQLi. What does MySQLi stand for? MySQL improved. How do you establish a connection using MySQLi? Use MySQLi underscore connect function. How do you fetch a result as an associative array? Use MySQLi underscore fetch underscore assoc function. SQL injection. What is SQL injection? A security vulnerability that allows an attacker to interfere with the queries. How do you prevent SQL injection in PHP? Use prepared statements. Can escaping strings prevent SQL injection? It can help, but prepared statements are more secure. Regular expressions. What function is used for regular expressions in PHP? Preg underscore match function is commonly used. How do you replace a pattern in a string using regex? Use preg underscore replace function. What symbol represents the start of a string in regex? The given symbol. See URL. What is curl in PHP? A library for making HTTP requests. How do you initialize a curl session? Use curl underscore init function. How do you execute a curl session? Use curl underscore executive function. JSON. How do you encode an array to JSON in PHP? Use JSON underscore encode function. How do you decode a JSON string? Use JSON underscore decode. What is the second parameter in JSON underscore decode for? It determines whether the data should be returned as an associative array true or an object. XML. What is simple XML in PHP? A library that makes working with XML documents easier. How do you load an XML file with simple XML? Use simple XML underscore load underscore file function. Can simple XML handle XPath queries? Yes, simple XML supports XPath queries using XP8 function. Date and time. How do you get the current date and time in PHP? Use the date function. How do you create a datetime object? Use new datetime method. How do you format a date in PHP? Use the format method of the datetime object. Mail function. What function is used to send an email in PHP? Mail function. How do you specify additional headers in the mail function? Use the fourth parameter. Can you send HTML emails with mail function? Yes, by setting the appropriate headers. Encryption. What function is used for one-way encryption in PHP? Password underscore hash method. How do you verify a password against a hash? Use password underscore verify method. Can you use MD5 for secure hashing? No, MD5 method is not secure. Use password underscore hash method instead. Include and require. What is the difference between include and require in PHP? Require throws a fatal error if the file is missing. How do you include a file once in a script? Use include_once or require_once. What happens if include fails? It raises a warning, but the script continues. Forms with file upload. How do you handle file uploads in PHP? Using the $_files superglobal. How do you check if a file was successfully uploaded? Check $_files file error for upload__OK. How do you move an uploaded file? Use move_uploaded_file. PHP and HTML integration. How do you embed PHP in HTML? Use PHP open and close tags within the HTML. Can you use PHP to output HTML? Yes, using echo or print. How do you handle HTML form data in PHP? By accessing the data through $_get, $_post, or $_request. Localization. How do you localize strings in PHP? Using the getText function or localization libraries. How do you set the locale for PHP? Use the setLocale function. What is the purpose of the lc_all constant? It sets the locale for all categories. Command line PHP. Can PHP be run from the command line? Yes, PHP can be executed in CLI mode. How do you pass arguments to a PHP script from the command line? Use $argv. How do you exit a script in CLI mode? Use the exit function. Error reporting. How do you enable error reporting in PHP? Use error_reporting or set display_errors in php.ini. How do you log errors instead of displaying them? Use log_errors and set a log file in php.ini. What is the purpose of error_reporting and e_all? It enables reporting for all types of errors and warnings. Frameworks. Name a popular PHP framework. Laravel. What is the purpose of a PHP framework? To provide a structured environment for web development. How does a framework help with MVC architecture? It separates concerns into models, views, and controllers. Composer. What is Composer in PHP? A dependency manager for PHP projects. How do you install a package using Composer? Use the Composer require command. How do you autoload classes using Composer? Use Composer dump autoload. Testing. What is PHP unit? A testing framework for PHP. How do you write a test case in PHP unit? Extend the PHP unit \framework \test case class. How do you run tests in PHP unit? Use the PHP unit command in the terminal. RESTful APIs. How do you make a RESTful API in PHP? By handling HTTP methods like GET, POST, PUT, DELETE. What is the use of JSON encode in APIs? To send data in JSON format. How do you set HTTP status codes in PHP? Use the HTTP_response_code function. Web security. How do you protect against excesses in PHP? Sanitize output using HTML special chars. What is CSRF protection? Measures to prevent cross-site request forgery, like using tokens. How do you implement HTTPS in PHP? Configure SSL TLS on the server and use HTTPS URLs. SOAP. What is SOAP in PHP? A protocol for exchanging structured information in web services. How do you create a SOAP client in PHP? Use the SOAP client class. How do you handle exceptions in SOAP? Use a try-catch block around SOAP requests. AJAX. What is AJAX in the context of PHP? A technique to send receive data asynchronously without refreshing the page. How do you handle AJAX requests in PHP? By checking if the request is made via AJAX and responding with data, often in JSON format. How do you send an AJAX request using jQuery? Use the $.ajax function. Templating engines. What is a templating engine in PHP? A tool that separates logic and presentation, like Twig. How do you pass data to a template in Twig? Use the render method in the controller. Can you extend templates in Twig? Yes, by using extends-base.html.twig. That's it for now. Hope you found this video interesting. Please do subscribe, like, share and comment. We will catch up again in the next video with a new topic. Thanks for watching.